You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
Oh, beautiful, full spacious skies for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed His grace on thee, and crown thy good with.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of Patriots and Petticoats, it is my pleasure to welcome you aboard Flight 1776 with service to the United States of America and continuing service to a more perfect union. Federal regulations require that carry-on items are stowed prior to closing the aircraft door. Your items may be placed in an overhead compartment or completely under the seat in front of you. Use caution when placing items in or removing them from the overhead compartment, and let us know if we may assist you. In order to expedite the boarding process, please be seated as quickly as possible after stowing your items and take a moment to review the Constitution and Declaration of Independence located on the device in your pocket. If you are unable or unwilling to perform the functions as described on those documents, please let us know and we will find a more suitable destination for you. Thank you for joining us, and we look forward to spending our evening with you. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Patriots and Petticoats. My co-hosts, Eric and Chris, and myself, literally Heather, here to join you on this fabulous Father's Day. So real quick, huge shout out to the fathers in the world, and to our two fathers on the show. Both Chris and Eric are dads. Guys, how did you spend your Father's Day? Please tell me what you did today.
It was a lot of your standard lunch, go out to lunch, sit around, open some cards, talk to some family members. I spent a lot of time with my 3-year-old nephew today. Is he 4 now? I don't know. But he's that fun 3-4 age. And they live on a farm, so we just ran around. He went and collected all the eggs out of the chicken coop. He's like, he's farm boy. They've only been there like a year. He's way into it. He's like, it's so cool here, Uncle Eric. There's so many bugs. I got him one of those.
That's awesome.
I got him this little thing. It looks like a plastic gun, but it's a vacuum, and you can suck bugs up into it. Put them in a container.
Very cool. Is it like one of those containers that has the magnifying glass on top where you can like examine them? Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. Chris, how did you spend your Father's Day?
I spent it at the softball fields where I spent my Saturday.
He scored a lot of softball games this weekend.
That's awesome.
So like my kid is a part of a travel softball team, and it was our home tournament this weekend. So we were volunteering all weekend.
That's
doing
awesome.
All the grunt shit, having a good time. Watched a lot of great softball. Kids were awesome.
Drank some Bloody Marys, I'm assuming.
No, I don't drink.
Nope.
Oh, well, not you, but like the at the field. I still am blown away by the fact that you guys have a Bloody Mary bar. Like that.
Well, this was our home tournament, so there's a bar there. So it's in Ridgefield, so there's a bar there. So that
it's at Loggers Park.
No, it's at Pioneer.
Oh, okay.
Pioneer Bowl. So it's a bowling alley, but it's a bar. So we had hot food. I think the team brought 230 racks. It was gone by 3:00 on Saturday.
Nice.
I love some bowling alley food. They make a great pizza. You can usually
They got
get
the best French fries in the world at Pioneer Bowl. But anyways, it was a great time. Yeah, you come to our home tournament. It's not. We have to set up a Bloody Mary bar with fucking coolers. We play at the bar.
Oh, that's crazy. I guess I just don't. It's just not like that with gymnastics, and that's the only sport that I have any sort of
Let me tell you something.
experience
It's
with.
not like that in Oklahoma either.
Yeah.
It's just Wisconsin. It's just Wisconsin
Yeah.
drinks with everything.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha. Okay.
Everything. There's nothing that you're gonna go and do that has a Bloody Mary bar at it. It's just got a Bloody Mary
Gotcha.
bar at it.
You go to your kid's Christmas concert, and there's a couple parents, at a back door of a car pouring something into some
Yeah,
flask.
they've got the V8 and the vodka and doing the whole thing. On the go. We're doing
it's
it.
wild.
Oh, that's
Got the
awesome.
camel packs, straw in. What is in that? It looks like tomato going through that. Yeah, bloody.
Hey,
Um,
Joey. Joey's here.
Joey is here. He is in Manhattan for a wedding.
Ooh.
So everybody say a prayer for Joey that he survives and makes it out of New York back to commie country in California. It's like he goes from one cesspool
Yeah.
to another. Not sure what to think about where you spend your time, Joey.
Driving from
Don't ride the
Sochi
subway. Don't ride the subway unless you got a Marine there.
to,
So
from
ask for a
Beijing to
credential.
Sochi there.
And nowadays, the Marine's not going to come to help you anymore. So, Tex, hi, good to see you. Thank you for joining us this evening. Okay,
We got stuff.
We have stuff. We have stuff to talk to you guys about tonight.
What? There's stuff going on in America?
Yeah, can you imagine that? It's
No.
crazy. We're gonna start off with Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan kind of lost his shit this weekend.
Do you think that was him typing all those tweets? Because he always says that he doesn't do social media.
Oh,
Well,
that's
he
a good
says he
question. I
posts-
don't know.
He says he posts and then he doesn't look at it again. So I think that was probably him because he's a genuine.
No. Did you listen to the episode with RK?
No,
I
haven't.
did not listen to that.
This is Joe Rogan. His tone changed during that. Like he has found he really believes that the Democrat Party is evil now.
Sorry, I have a fly and I almost got it, but I didn't. I'm so sorry. I'm like trying so hard.
I thought it
I
was
didn't-
news to you that Democrats were evil. I'm like,
I was
why?
like, wow, Heather's starting to sink in. Look at her. She's starting.
No,
to
it was crawling up my leg, and I'm like poised and ready to attack, and it was on my computer screen, and I tried to thump it, and it got away. So disappointing. Anyway, if
Lives
you
to
see
fight
me
another
acting
day.
erratically, everyone, that's why. Okay, so here's the thing. Joe Rogan has had multiple people on his show over the course of since COVID took place
Mhm.
that have at least presented evidence that things may not have been the way they seemed. That things were presented possibly in a way that was not true.
The numbers were perhaps very massaged.
That, and then the vaccinations themselves were being pushed by people suggesting that who was it recently that got caught, and they were saying like, oh, Rachel Maddow. So a personality on television is stating without any evidence but with absolute certainty that if you take the vaccination, COVID stops with you. Like the vaccine was the end of the virus.
That's what I was told by the president.
Right.
That I'm not going to get it and I'm not going to spread it.
Correct. And so I
He's
think
the most honest person a lot of people know.
right. I think that and he really looks up to his son. His son is one of the best people he's ever met. So,
yep.
I think Joe Rogan has been one of the only media personalities with the large platform and following that he has that has at least presented another side to the conversation, at least entertained or permitted actual discourse surrounding this particular subject. And I think Robert Kennedy coming in and saying the things that he's been anti-vax from the beginning. Like he's been anti-vax from all the vaccinations. It's not just COVID that he's anti-vax on.
Oh, he's an anti-vaxxer from back when I used to make fun of anti-vax.
Right.
Okay.
And so I think that, to Chris's point, his attitude shifted, his mentality, Joe Rogan's. Now I think Joe Rogan has been convinced that people have been lied to. And
Yeah.
that for me, and so now you have this gentleman coming out and saying, what's his name? Peter Hotez. Is that how you say his
Mhm.
name?
I think so.
Um, he came out, and I think like this is creating issues for Joe Rogan with regards to like his show on
Spotify?
Spotify.
Wow.
Um And then this Peter guy, I guess somebody actually ended up showing up to his house to demand that he defend his position against Robert Kennedy on his
Hmm.
show. And so it's escalated significantly. Joe Rogan doesn't traditionally, and again, to your point, was it him making the tweets? Because traditionally, you don't see that type of like aggression come from his account. So it
Yeah.
makes me wonder, is this actually him speaking
Has
on his
something
account?
changed? Yeah.
Yeah. So what are your all's thoughts on this? Like, do you think that I it's funny because you can't demand somebody come and defend their
No,
position.
but it says a lot if they won't do it for a large sum of money. It's up to what, 600,000 now? It might be up to a
I
million.
think it's
I'm
past a
waiting for
million at this point.
yeah, because once I saw someone up it to 600, I said, well, that's gonna go over a million tomorrow.
Yeah.
What's up, Sheiks?
Cheeks is
I
back. He
think
joined us last week. Yeah.
I'm really grateful that there's someone with this big of an audience who's willing to let everybody talk, you know?
Right.
He believes, he was believing in UFOs back when it was crazy to do that. Like he loves to explore ideas. That's why he started his whole show. He wants to sit down with people who have ideas and explore those ideas. Sometimes he pushes back on it. I haven't heard the RFK episode yet, but it sounds like it was pretty wild. And for him to come out and do this, I think maybe he feels now a responsibility with an audience that big that maybe he needs to, if at least he
Be
needs to do
truthful.
the work, at least he needs to do the work to try and make this happen, to try and facilitate it.
Yeah. So I think too, like Joe Rogan has pulled up like past tweets and stuff that this man has made and then deleted.
Mm,
And he's trying to play like, oh, well, I'll come on your show, but he doesn't want to debate with Kennedy. And I do think that that's pretty interesting.
mhm.
Joey said Rogan's a free speech guy. He doesn't necessarily agree with everyone he has on, but he'll talk to anyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's had far left people on that I could not stand. Some that I tried to listen to and couldn't. But I'm glad because that's how a healthy society works.
Yeah, I think it's really interesting. So Rogan throws out the $100,000 initially, like that's what it was at first. Then
Low
other
for
people
Joe
have
Rogan, by the way.
do what?
That's a low number if you're Joe Rogan.
Right. And then Kennedy responds and also says, Peter, let's have the respectful, congenial, informative debate that the American people deserve. And I think this is like, so let's talk about the ramifications or the implications of this. This is another opportunity for Robert Kennedy to get his voice out there, his name out there, and
Mhm.
continuing to chip away at Joe Biden. I think that that's another like this is his Kennedy's name is in the news big time for this whole situation. And so people are like, "Well, who is this Kennedy guy? Let's look into like what he's got to say." And that could be bad for Joe Biden.
Yeah. Yeah,
Um
any kind of legit opposition who could win the votes of the Democrats is a serious threat to him.
yeah,
'Cause
I agree
he's a
wholeheartedly.
he's a straw man, essentially. He's
Yeah.
an empty vessel into which these radicals pour their ideas.
Well, I have a theory, and I'm going to get to that in a second. I want to go to Sheik's comment real fast. He said there was a documentary talking about how Kennedy may have been accidentally killed by the Secret Service or CIA in the car with him when it jolted and possibly covered it up. I can't remember the name. That's interesting. If you find it, chic, let us know. With that being said, I have a theory. I think that, hold on. Joey said, all right, guys, gonna go find dinner and then hit Hell's Kitchen, which apparently is a gayborhood now. Go figure.
Oh, best of luck. I bet he looks dapper as fuck.
Oh, I
doing
bet
Hey.
he
well.
is too.
If you meet somebody, he's gonna have to come on the show. Like there's gonna have to be an approval.
Yeah, we're gonna have
process.
to vet this gentleman if
Yeah,
you find
yeah.
someone.
It's not just like you just now date. Okay.
No.
We
He
have a
lives
cat
across.
grown and stuff.
He lives
We have a
across
cat
the
to
country.
think about.
This will be a casual evening.
Have fun, Joey. We love you. Thanks for stopping in while we were here. I appreciate you as always. Good luck and have fun in your evening in Hell's Kitchen.
Yep. Stay safe. Sheesh.
So I kind of threw this theory out in Liberty Happy Hour on Friday, but I want to run it by the two of you, obviously, because you're like my sounding board. So I think so Joe Biden has had major fucking gaffes this week. Just like tons of God save the Queen. The Queen's fucking dead and we're independent from Great Britain. So why are you saying something like that? His fall on stage, his comment about in Pennsylvania there's trucks full of guns where you can just walk up and buy one out of a van or something. Like
We're building a bridge to China.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're going to build a bridge across the Pacific Ocean to India. And I mean, like, the man has lost his fucking mind, right? And so here is an interesting observation that I made this week. The call outs coming from the DeSantis camp are not at Joe Biden. They're not at Donald Trump. They're not at any other competitor except for Gavin Newsom. DeSantis's campaign and DeSantis himself have both called out Gavin Newsom and said, look, you're sitting there. Come on. Why don't you get in the race? I think that Gavin Newsom is going to run in the Democratic election for this year, for 2024. And I think DeSantis sees that writing on the wall. He sees Joe Biden falling apart. He doesn't see Kennedy or Marianne Williamson as a legitimate candidate to go up against. Your next darling candidate that is really pushing that national profile is Gavin Newsom.
So
that's my prediction. I've
consider
said it on the
leaving.
show. What do you think about that?
I might have to go. I don't think I could do 4 years in Gavin Newsom's America. I would need to revolt or leave.
So you're you're really not, like, secretly. But like publicly, the front that you put out is a fairly moderate individual. Like, you publicly present yourself fairly moderately, right?
Probably.
If you're saying like you're gonna leave the whole country,
he's insane. This guy.
he is insane. The policies that he has put in place are radical, fucking nuts. Kids are
radical.
Yeah. He has signed some of the most insane laws that I've ever seen.
Like, Joe Biden is a buffoon, but I mean, Gavin Newsom is a calculated.
No, they're all the fucking same. They're all fucking bitch cunt boys. They all gotta go. There's not like Joe Biden's a little bit better. Fuck no. They're all fucks. Round them all up and hang them.
That'll probably
Is that
get
moderate?
it down.
No, it wasn't moderate.
No, I don't disagree with you, Chris. I think that, it's like we're talking uniparty type situation, right? Like all the Democrats are the same.
Yeah.
But I think that Gavin Newsom actually supports the positions that he's signing legislation to. I think that privately, if you ask Joe Biden if he actually agrees with the things he's signing off on, and he was like mentally sane, I don't think that he would agree with the positions that he's signing off on.
I think Gavin Newsom doesn't either. I don't think any human that has any kind of a brain. Do what?
I can't hear you.
Is it
There you
not
go.
on?
Yeah,
I
it's
can-
on. It's just your
That has
seat
any
quiet.
kind of a brain doesn't support this. And guess what? I'm going to even say something even more egregious. I think if you sat down Gavin Newsom and Ron DeSantis, they're just trying to out fucking flank each other here. And I think both of them are like, shit, we've gotten this kind of deep. How did this happen? Like, where did I start? Okay, now what am I into? Shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm too deep. Now I got to go all the way.
So do you think that Gavin Newsom will be worse if he keeps going?
Yeah,
I think-
both of them.
I
Here's the deal with America. We can't go too far left.
Too
Too
polarized.
far right's not good either. None
No.
of it's good.
Yeah. Do you think that Ron DeSantis will usher in a too far right, like more of a almost like
Well, here's the deal. You
authoritarian?
can't really be in like 4 years. It's going to take him a lot. It will take him a while to undo a lot of this. So it'll feel like it's going really hard, right? But really, we're just going to come back kind of the middle. Then I don't think you would ever get elected again. Because then it would
Yeah.
may start to swing way too far right. But if we get another further Democrat that wants to say, look at my dick's bigger, I mean, how far more left can we go before me and Rudy are fucking dick shooting these motherfuckers?
I think the fact that DeSantis is giving a bunch of credence to Newsom, that's upsetting to me because that tells me he knows, and
Yep.
the people who work for him know. So
Yeah.
that's going to be the candidate. Then I mean, this
Because
Well,
I think
sometimes
DeSantis
people
is
are wrong.
banking on the idea that Trump is going to actually
He's
go
going
to
to get
prison.
in. He may go to prison. That's a
Yeah.
real strong possibility here.
Yep. I think that's another thing I wanted to talk to you guys. I didn't put it in our chat tonight, but the indictments against Trump, like some of the charges and some of the accusations are pretty fucking bad. Like
They're the
showing
same.
off. Go ahead.
They're the same kind of indictment that any of them would have if they actually indicted them.
If they indicted them, yeah.
In
Yeah.
fact,
and
we may even throw up in our mouth if someone got indicted. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
go look at Barack Hussein Obama's track record. See
Right.
if we
All
want to go
of
through
that.
that and
All of that.
prosecute it.
Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, Bush, both of
Bush.
the
Bush,
Bushes,
You
both
kidding me?
Bushes,
both
uh,
Bushes,
the fucking Cheneys.
Cheney.
Cheney,
Cheney's
all
a
of
whole
them.
book by himself.
Yep. And so it feels very much like Trump is like the.
That-
Go ahead.
If Cheney didn't go to prison, what are we doing?
Right.
He's in the circle though. He's in the Tom and Jerry show.
The circle be unbroken. That's what it feels like. Like the fucking family, man, and they're not going to be broken.
Yep.
It is they're in the club and Trump is
But
not.
so we are talking about this election like it's like how, so what do we have before, how much longer before the election? A year and what?
November of 2024. So we have a year and
A year and 5 months.
Yeah.
So there's going to be like Biden's probably not even still alive that far into the future. I mean, there's a
Not
good
because we're threatening
possibility.
his life, but
No,
because we think he physically
because
can't
he's
make it
old as
there.
fucking dirt. And I don't know how much longer your cocktails will work on him.
Yeah.
So, and then we don't know exactly. I think I think Robert Kennedy is going to make a big showing here. He's going about it differently, right? He's going on podcasts, independent podcasts. But
Yep.
I think that people are misjudging the fucking media right now. And I think that independent, it could work. Kennedy could make this happen.
Yeah. If he can tap into Facebook, and I know that sounds really stupid because Twitter is like where I spend all of my time.
Facebook's so much bigger, though.
Facebook is so much bigger than Twitter is. If he can tap into Facebook groups and, like make himself, or at least his campaign, available in areas to start communicating with people on social media, it will be a game changer for him because no one is turning on the news anymore. No one is watching MSNBC, Fox News. Fuck, Tucker Carlson on a 12-minute video on Twitter gets millions of views within an hour. And it's
Mhm.
like, the game has changed and mainstream media is not catching up. Okay, I'm going to go through some of these chats real quick.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm with Patriot Girl. Costa Rica's. I was just talking about Costa Rica last week. They're 36th in the world in healthcare, actually higher than us.
That doesn't surprise me.
A lot of countries.
Speaking of
36
healthcare,
is
my
pretty
mom
good.
just had brain surgery on Wednesday. She was home by Friday afternoon.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's because they needed beds. So they were shoving her out the minute she stopped needing
Wow.
any physical assistance. They're like, okay, deuces,
Sheesh.
bitch, go home.
All right, you're good.
Yeah.
Next.
When we're old, we're gonna
Tell me
get
we have a
treated like
Kaiser.
shit.
If we have a Kaiser patient in there, she's got to go. Get the
Yeah.
Kaiser patient in here. Oh,
Yeah.
we got a Blue Cross Blue Shield. That's room 303.
Yeah. Bruce Wayne said there will be vetting. Book that it's based on Mortal Error, the shot that killed JFK. Ooh, there's a book. I like books. Patriot Girl Prepper said Gavin and Whitmore. Oh, are you talking about the governor of Michigan? Whitmer. I call her Whitler because she's like Hitler.
Whitmer.
Costa Rica's looking good. Batman said was just having this discussion over dinner with the Rents of who they'll pair with Newsom. Glad to know that I am not. Said it'll be a pick for optics with ranking consideration based off the intersectional hierarchy. Burn Slot says Twitter views are fake numbers. That's interesting. Do you guys think that? Do you think that Elon Musk is artificially inflating Tucker's numbers, or do you think he's actually getting that number of views? I'd be curious to hear your all's thoughts on that subject.
I'd never considered it, but now that I think about it, he does need that to succeed.
Well,
like, I saw an article or a post about Twitter being kicked out of Denver office because they weren't paying rent.
Commissioner Gover, crazy bitch. Yeah. Yeah. So he got kicked out of Colorado. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I think
my
it was
thought
Colorado.
process on the on the real estate thing. Number one, if you don't have employees coming to the office, it makes it really hard to justify the expense.
Yeah.
Number
A
two,
giant office building?
Do what?
A giant office building? Just keeping the lights on is crazy.
Right. Well, and so my thought process is a lot of these leases, a lot of these contracts were negotiated under Twitter, where he has changed. He's essentially done away with Twitter. He's absolved that company, and he now has X Corp or whatever it is. So my thought process is he's not renegotiating, not signing these leases. He'll end up probably filing bankruptcy for Twitter. And then all of those agreements are going to go away. And then he'll create new agreements that are more efficient, better. Do what?
X app.
Yes.
The everything app or whatever.
I mean, that's what my thought is. I don't know for sure. I haven't seen anything on that, but it would be interesting to see.
So I think I missed my spot here. I should have talked, but I forgot. So let me go back really quick. So if Donald Trump goes to prison, and we kind of see who's entered the race right now, who kind of where our choices are, and there are a whole bunch of establishment, right? So except for like RFK, right? And then who else? The lady,
Marianne Williamson.
Yeah. So do you think another populist pops in? Because I think somebody that's a populist is going to win this.
Well, Vivek Ramaswamy is a major populist.
Yes.
He is a populist candidate. So
he is super awesome to me.
I love him.
I'm sure
he has my vote right now for the primary.
I'm sure he's super off-putting for some people, though.
Yeah.
In a general.
Maybe.
He could be competitive in the primary because he knows what he's talking about and he's correct.
He's really
factually correct.
Yeah, he's qualified for the debate stage, so they can't shut him up now. Like they can't.
He qualified. He got his.
He did. He has all of this. He has all of the donations. He has everything.
He's gonna make establishment politicians look stupid.
He's going to humiliate them.
Yes, it's not gonna be good.
Yep.
I mean, it's gonna be good. I love Vivek.
Yeah.
In fact, I've messaged him twice trying to get him on. But
Vivek, if you see the show, come on, bro.
Yeah.
come
Let's
hang
have
out
a
with the little
conversation.
people.
You guys all start harassing him. Send him a bunch of tweets and say, go on Patriots and Petticoats. Burn Slot says there was a tweet from nobody that got 1 billion views.
Interesting.
And just so we're clear, if it's fucking an establishment, motherfucker, I'm writing in Rudy with the permit, and I'm writing it just like that with the @ symbol, so they can find him in case he wins.
Oh, that's funny. But to your point, like, it's really interesting. I think that, gosh, man, it will be interesting if they do move forward with this Donald Trump situation and put him behind bars. What does that say? Like, that has, like,
Heather, listen to me.
We're a
If they
second
put-
world country.
If they put Donald Trump in prison, they can never lose again. Whatever that takes, they
Mhm.
can never ever lose again because the precedent it's on.
You think you won't be able to lock these people up after this term
Shit.
if they're going to do this?
right.
Like, the precedent will be there. And how are they not thinking of that unless they know that'll never be a
They're
problem?
Sure that they'll shore that up themselves
Burns lots-
forever.
Burns
Maybe
lot's
they're the
right
youthful idiots
on that
and they're going to
last
literally
comment. Rich people don't do
Burns Lots
time.
put the if I'm not sure where it shows up in other places, but on Twitch he put, so you'd have to go to the Twitch video, but he has the link to the 1 billion views thing. I'll go check that out, Burns. Thank you for sharing that with us. And then
You're
he said
exactly right,
or
Burns.
she, I'm not sure, said rich people don't do time.
Burn Notice. That was a great show.
Burns Lots. Not
Burns
might be
Lots?
saying it incorrectly. Burns Slots.
Oh, he burns lots. All right. It's far out. I get it, man.
Oh
I
man.
get it now.
I'm just gonna drink my sweet tea over here.
What does that say? Are we still a first world country if we lock Donald Trump up in a prison?
I don't know that we are right now. We're cutting the
Yeah.
fucking dicks off of
Yeah.
little boys. I mean, I don't think they do that in regular countries. That's not.
Yeah, we've reached
They're not doing that in the Netherlands, are they? Sweden.
Well, they've made it
Sweden.
illegal there. Actually,
Hmm.
they tried it. It didn't work. They said, "Oh, this was a mistake."
So let's talk about that for a minute. Let's shift and transition a little bit then away from Rogan and the presidential election. Let's talk about the pushback. Okay, so you've got Bud Light's numbers are in the tank right now, to the point where the CEO has come out with another statement saying, guys, just wait. Our next advertising campaign is coming.
You're gonna love it.
We're gonna have so many Clydesdales and
It's
some
so chock full of
Dalmatians.
America. We're gonna debut it on the 4th of July, and it's gonna be Bruce Springsteen sucking Abe Lincoln's cock.
You're
gonna
gonna
be
shit
amazing.
yourself.
With an eagle flying in the background.
Yeah.
But
Bud
does
Light,
your beer-
unlike Epstein, did kill itself.
yes. But did you fix your beer? Because it tastes like shit too.
Yeah. Now Tommy Lahren came out and said that there's a whistleblower within Bud Light or Anheuser-Busch that says InBev did this on purpose. And they wanted to tank the numbers so that they could justify layoffs and restructuring. So the question becomes, was this an intentional? Because, you know, everyone was sitting there thinking, even this person's talking about like internally
Yes,
within
it
the
made no
company.
fucking sense.
They were like, this doesn't make sense. Why would Bud Light do this? Why would Anheuser-Busch do this? And oh, I love it.
That makes so much more sense.
So
I
It's
see
like
little
burning
kitty,
a restaurant.
I see little cats with a bunch of tinfoil hats on going, that laser pointers, humans are behind that. And it says conspiracy theorist. Because you know we're right. And people will say that absolutely we're conspiracy theorists.
get your tinfoil hat out.
But you know that's right. That's
yeah.
100% something that you could. Hey man, we got to tank this shit.
Yep.
Call California, bring one of them DEDID whatever in here. Yeah,
In
bring them on
these-
in here. Give me one of them dyes. Do you got some of them dyes in California? Give me one of them long-haired dyes, ones that wear skirts. Talk about that transy thing y'all do now. Right here into this camera.
Oh shit.
You know, that's how that went down.
Oh,
You gotta ask
man.
yourself in situations
We-
like this,
We
ones that
about
don't
to
make
lay
sense,
everybody off.
who
Well,
benefits?
because it didn't make sense, right? Like, why shit on your entire
You have
brand?
one customer base. Not
blue
two, not
collar
three. You
white
have one.
men. That's it.
And
That's
yeah,
who was
underage
drinking their
drinkers.
beer.
They don't. Underage drinkers don't spring for Bud Light. They're drinking.
Like, you
fucking
can
Mad
even
Dog
watch
and
the video that
Natty
Dylan
Light.
Mulvaney did, and he's like gagging as he's trying to like take this drink. Like, he doesn't even like it. Burnslot said even second world countries have healthcare. Sheik said eagle with a red-tailed hawk screech.
Nice.
Joey's looking dapper.
Yeah.
Ooh, Joey.
With the drink in the
He will
hand.
have
On
his
the
choice tonight.
prowl. Man,
He will have many
Joey's looking
suitors.
good. Okay, I'm sorry. I got completely distracted by the whole whistleblower thing. So, but you're seeing pushback in other ways, right? Like, we
Did
obviously
you see all
this is
the Catholics in Los Angeles protesting the what are those things? What are those people called? The Sisters of the Perpetual Degeneracy, or what are those? Chris, what are those nuns people that were going to the Dodger game? What are they called?
Sisters
Perpetual
of
something.
Perpetual
Sister cunts.
Indulgence.
Yeah,
Whatever.
they're
say.
not very. There was like what 15,
People.
2,000 people at that game.
So
Maybe.
I looked into that because what I was afraid of was sharing that video and being like, look how many people didn't show up to the Dodgers game because of this.
Well, they just didn't show up to that.
Right. Because they had it shown like over an hour before the game even started. Like, it's not
Which
like
is
they-
always how it's done at a baseball game because you got to get right into BP.
right.
So any kind of awards or like when Ryan Braun did his retirement, you had to be there. If that game was at 7:10, we were there at like 5 to
Yep.
go watch that because then they
Right.
got to get the field right.
Yeah. So I want to, but with that being said, there was still a massive protest outside of it. And I don't know
Huge.
what the stands look like during the game, but
They
even
said 49,000, but it's not. 49,000 tickets were sold, but those tickets could have been sold in
the
January.
people who voluntarily didn't go. Yeah.
or in January and had no idea this was even going to be a thing and then
Sure.
just didn't show up. So
Yeah.
I haven't been able to find it. So,
Yeah. It would be interesting
Probably
to
low.
see like a video or a shot of what the field looked
Like
like
the
during
third-
the game. Do what?
like in the third inning or
Yeah.
fourth,
Yeah.
because it's LA and people show up late to everything in LA.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure. So maybe they're a fifth inning crowd.
Right. But with that being said, like, I've been to plenty of baseball games. I would always show up early just
Yes.
to make sure I get to my seat, I get my concessions, I get, like I'm
Well,
set
yeah.
and I'm ready.
I'm
That
in the
and-
first 10% of people there. Yeah.
Yeah.
That and the kids like to watch BP, and then the players will come over and sign balls. The kids can go down in the front at
Yeah.
that early and stand
Yep.
there, and they'll come over and sign and talk and BS. Like Josh Hader did that with Peanut. It was a big deal. He was like, if you get all A's, bring that ball back to me and I'll take it to the dugout and sign it.
That's awesome.
Everybody will sign it, but blah, blah, blah. So just things like that. That's what makes baseball so much fun for families. It's not always such the game. like that's being played.
Yeah.
It's like all of it.
Right. The other thing where you are seeing pushback is in the youth, the kids. So you have that school. I think it was Maryland or Massachusetts. I could be wrong on the state, so I apologize if I am. But they were instructed by the school to wear pride colors. So they were designated specific colors that they were supposed to wear, and the kids protested and wore red, white, and blue instead, shouting in
Nice.
the hallways, "My pronouns are USA." And
That's
like,
how Hartford is.
That's what would happen here. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's where we live. They're the big trucks with Trump flags
yeah,
and American flags.
yeah. And so, and the administrators were just appalled. They were absolutely appalled, saying that this was bigoted and discriminatory and all of this
Aw.
stuff. And here's my thing, and this is what I don't understand. Like, I have always been, and I've said this on the show numerous times, I've always been a live and let live person. Like, I'm cool
Mhm.
with you doing what you want to do. Do
Yes.
not, under any circumstances, try to force or push your ideology, your position, your religion, your anything onto me, or like, your idea may even be good. Your things that you're promoting may be good, but I'm having none of it. The minute that you
Mhm.
try to force something on me, I'm going to push back against you.
And they're
instantly.
literally forcing clothing on these kids. They want them to wear it.
Not just that, but what happened, where is their representation? So as a child, right? So Ainsley, she asks me, she's like, "Mama, she's really struggling with all of this. Like, I wish I could
'Cause
just
she's
do
an
an
empath.
entire episode talking about how confused she is by what's taking place, right? She's learning about at school, she's learning about the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence and the American Revolution and how we came together as a country to rebel against the British, and we were all one united. Like, she's
Yeah.
learning about the foundation of what we should be as a nation. And then what she's seeing culturally and publicly is this division, this segregation, this
Mhm.
identity style uh division, right? And she's like, "Mama, am I a bad person because I don't participate in this? Am I not as good as the next person because I'm not this?" And like, she knows that she's not, but she's starting to, like, the confidence that she carries herself
Yeah.
with, she's starting to question herself.
Yes. I do sometimes as an adult. I'm like, "Hey, like, am I the crazy person?" Because all these people seem to think it's good. But I mean, an impressionable kid who hasn't had all these decades of life experience, she's for sure gonna be
Eric, you're a
thinking,
cis white man. You are the devil. You're the
yeah, I
worst
don't
person
know.
on the planet.
I don't even know why I'm supplying an opinion because it does not matter. I'm just here to listen.
Yeah. You are not allowed.
Shout out to
Yeah.
all the moms who do both jobs. Happy Father's Day.
I buy baseball tickets off a scalper for $2 15 minutes after the game starts. That's a smart move, homie.
Yep.
Pronouns are USA. Bruce Wayne said Burlington, Massachusetts. Thank you. I knew it was an M state. I just couldn't remember which one. Maybe you are the crazy person, Burnslot says.
Yeah.
Probably. Location
is-
of the based USA pronouns Utes at the middle school, that is. That's sad,
Ah,
and different people are
Utah.
starting to become viewed as bad.
Yes. You can't be in the middle like, hey, I don't want to be involved in ideology and
Right.
these politics of me. No, you either support cutting genitals from healthy children or you're a fascist.
Right. Trying to think of how to transition. Hold on. Sheik said, "Wish my dad happy Father's
Nice.
Day on my channel today." That's awesome. And on the phone. So just a quick, like, emotional moment. So my dad died on June 14th in 2011. And while I was out at my mom's helping her like get, situated to recover and stuff like that this weekend, I found a bunch of old pictures of me and my dad together. And
Oh,
I'm gonna post, I'll make a post a little bit later today, but it's like just this, I look so sweet and innocent and just
I
I'm
bet
like,
you were the
God, look
cutest
how
little kid.
horrible I turned out from this great human being that I used to be. But it's hard to have, such a great relationship with your father and him not be there anymore. And so like it's it's so great to see the number of great fathers that I have surrounded myself with, like you and Chris and a lot of the guys over in gun Twitter, that kind of stuff. Like it's really nice to see wholesome dads building relationships with their kids. So I just wanted, I know I gave like a quick happy Father's Day at the beginning, but legitimate shout out to those dads who are really there for their kids. Like it means a lot to me to have people like you in the world. So just a little emotional
We
moment
try.
because I'm the vagina on the show. So that's what happens. As Chris
Who
would
the
call me,
fuck let a
the
skirt in?
skirt.
I guess I didn't ask you. So you're a girl. Fuck.
God damn it.
I was wondering why these motherfucking shows go for
Yep.
2 hours. I was like, dude.
Oh
That's all
man.
my sexist shit. Hey, this is me with Reagan this weekend, and I made a few people laugh. I was like, get out there and give it 100%. And she's like, what? I said, baby, we give 100% in everything, except for when you give blood. Don't do that.
That's pretty good.
Then
That
you
was a
only
good
give like
dad joke.
5%.
That's
That
my
is
dad.
a great dad joke.
Yeah. Miggity Mark over on Rumble said that he is going to prison. So that's I guess general consensus. I'd like to know from the people in the chat how many people think that Donald Trump will be in fact found guilty and go to prison.
I just can't fathom
You
it.
do? Okay.
Yeah.
What about you, Eric?
I just can't imagine that. In my
You
brain, I
can't.
can't.
You
I
got to
can't see it.
understand our CIA and our NSA, our deep state. It's real, and it will do what it wants to do until we get somebody voted in there that cuts it.
That is wild. Let me see. I'm looking at the betting odds here. There's got to be, will Donald Trump be found guilty of one or more of the classified documents, federal charges? Yes,
Yes.
is minus 200. That means
So
it's
that's a
very
heavy
likely to
favorite.
happen.
Heavy favorite.
Wow.
It means right now, if you want to win any money on that, if you bet $200 to win 100. So you got to put 200 of your money on the line just to get 100 back. It's not good odds, bad odds.
Will he be found guilty of one or more felonies in New York? Yes is plus 125. No is minus 165. So it's slightly...
is this relating? Hold on. Is this related to the Stormy Daniels stuff, or is this related to
the New York
actual
stuff? Is
federal
Stormy
This
Daniels.
is campaign finance and business records.
That's
Stormy
Stormy
Daniels.
Daniels.
Yep.
So the stuff in Florida is different. And now a new case ready to be brought in New Jersey.
You know what I'm going to do?
Because
There's one in Georgia too, right?
Well, the Georgia one's different, right? That's the voter, like when he called the governor and said, find me 12,000 votes or whatever. I haven't heard all that. There's a lot more. There's a lot going on right now. They're throwing darts at the fucking wall everywhere that they can. Every DA that wants to have a name is now trumping up charges. Another dad joke.
Kind of strange that this man, he's what, 75 years old, I think is how old he is.
Yeah, a little
something
older.
like that. 75, 76. He's made it 76 years and never gone to prison, never had go ahead.
He probably had, and that was like he went through the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
That was tough.
And made it out unscathed. And he ran for president and was president for 4 years, and now it is like charge after charge after charge after charge.
If that doesn't tell you what the fuck we're living in, I don't know what does. And guess what? if RFK Jr. got in there or Vivek Ramaswamy gets in there, they're going to prison too.
Same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Same shit, different day.
You can get Gavin Newsom 14-1 to be the Democratic candidate. Put $5 American on it, so at least if it happens, I'll get $75. Enough for a bus ticket anyway.
Sheik says, I'm honestly unsure. Trump going away. Hugo Schaus. Oh, thanks. Crazy precedent if they do. A wave from JP. What's up? Good to see you in here. And Burnslet says, yeah, why are they enforcing laws now? Here's the thing. And Bern, you make a really good point. I actually am in favor of Trump being imprisoned if he did, in fact, commit the crimes that they are suggesting. My bigger problem that I have is then those other people who have committed the same crimes should also be imprisoned.
Yes.
Like,
just
take Congress, just pick them all up in a big fucking one of those fishing nets that they use and just drop them all in prison. I'm cool with that. I bet you miss
Thomas Massey.
Massey and Rand Paul can probably stay out.
Because Thomas Massey today was fixing his tractor.
Josh Hawley too. I wouldn't mind him staying out, but I want to address your point that you made. So it's interesting that Biden's DOJ is the one that is prosecuting these charges. Biden had three or four different locations, one of which was like his Corvette in his garage had top secret documents in them and mind you, here's the really interesting part. These documents were from when he was vice president, not when he was president of the United States. So he didn't even have the power to actually declassify the documents that he had. Now he could once he was president. He could do that, right? But my problem is there's that, and then you have this where the bribery thing, $5 million to him and his son. In exchange for, so that was back when he was vice president too. Like, you're exchanging favor for financial reward for you and your child. Like, okay, that you did that, you should be charged too. Like, where are Joe Biden's charges right now?
Yeah. If an American businessman does that, he goes to white collar prison.
Hillary Clinton had an entire unsecured server in her fucking basement. Like, that happened. That was a real thing. And it was not just fucking emails about her daughter's wedding. And I don't care what anybody, you want to talk about heavy stuff, said Biden didn't obstruct. What's really interesting about the obstruction, Hillary Clinton literally took hammers to BlackBerry phones and used BleachBit on her server. That's obstruction if I've ever seen it. And she never had a single charge brought against her.
Can you imagine? I wish I could have been a fly on the wall to see that scene. Her smashing this thing with a hammer.
Yep.
Frantically crying, probably.
It reminds me,
drunk.
like, when I think about it, I think of Kathy Bates in that movie where she takes her fucking the hammers on his ankles or whatever. Like, that's
calling her server a
Hillary
dirty
Clinton
birdie.
Reminds me of. Yeah, for sure. Heavy said if Trump didn't obstruct, he would have never been charged. He should have given everything back when asked. I don't disagree with that. Again, I'm not defending Trump. If he is in fact guilty, then lock him fucking up, but lock the rest of them up too. Like, he's not the only one. Whataboutism, non-British, the technique or practice of responding to an accusation or difficult question by making a counter accusation or raising a different issue. The parliamentary hearing appeared to be an exercise in whataboutism.
That's happening a lot with the kid touchers and the pedophiles. People just say, well, the Catholic Church did it too. It's like, well, okay. Can't they all be bad?
Yeah.
Because these Catholics were out protesting those fake nuns. And everybody's like, oh, they should talk. It's like, well, all right. But this Catholic congregation isn't out there touching kids. All right. So don't talk about them like they are.
Right. Yeah. Like, and maybe I don't want to seem like I'm committing whataboutism by saying, oh, well, all these people negate Trump.
I think it's more unilateralism.
Yeah. I just fucking, I'm like I'm moving into, I told people on Friday night, like a collapsitarianism acceleration, just fucking burn it down, pass all these stupid laws that are unconstitutional, make the entire fucking country a criminal. Watch where that gets you. Like, please let me see that world.
Holy shit, that's like an onyx pill.
Yeah, the super black. Super black. Like, just fucking swallow that shit. That's where I'm at this point. Heavy Step said every case is different.
Yep. It is. Case by case basis.
Yeah. But I mean, it would be it's disingenuous for me to say that I don't believe that I'm
what
not
happened?
sure how I feel about Chris with no beard.
That's a beard.
There-ish.
I think it would be disingenuous for me to say that the Trump from day one, like I think that anyone in this room or anyone watching, anyone listening, I am not like a diehard Trump fan. Everyone who knows me knows that. I know some people don't know me that come in and listen to the show, but the treatment of Donald Trump from day one has been different than
Yes.
any other elected official.
He's very
And-
clearly not one of us.
Right. The moment that Donald Trump was announced for his presidency, like when he came down the escalator, he became a puppet of Putin. He became someone who worked with a foreign government to affect our election. That has been proven multiple times over to not be true.
Not only not true, but the Democrats actually pretty friendly.
Paid for it. They paid for it. They bought and paid for that narrative. And
Didn't
the
the Clinton-
FBI knew it and they still ran with it.
Didn't the Clinton Foundation sell Russia plutonium mining rights in America?
Ooh, I don't know that. I don't want to speak on that. I have no clue.
I'm going to do more homework. I remember that.
But
We'll throw in the whole
let's
thing
talk about
next
that
week.
Clinton Foundation for a moment, shall we? How great is that doing financially since the Clintons are no longer in positions of
Yeah,
power?
that's wild, huh?
Yeah, crazy.
How's it doing? I don't know.
I don't think it's even in operation anymore.
Closed up shop. Wow.
There was also a massive swing in outspoken rage from the public. And Bernslot said, yeah, when all the CIA agents got murdered and he would not give back the documents with their names on it, a lot of people got pissed off. Are you talking about Trump?
I don't know.
I don't either.
I don't know what's on secret documents.
So,
Yes,
yes, he
okay.
said yes.
Interesting.
Like I said, if
That was on them?
if it's true, like the indictment, like the information
Yeah.
that has come out,
If that's
it's
all
fucking
real,
bad.
but let's stop for a second, because if they're honest when they say you can indict a ham sandwich, it's one
Yeah.
side of the story,
Right.
and that story can be narrated any way that they want it to be. So obviously these indictments are not hard to come by if the United States government is searching for them, right? But they still have to prove it.
Yeah, I think that you make a good point, Chris. Like there's a presumption of innocence there, right? Like we
Used to
still
be.
have
Used to be.
well,
Used to be.
yeah.
There's not anymore. That is gone.
It shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be, no, but it is gone. You can admit that, right, Heather?
Yeah.
It's not a deal anymore.
Well, I think about like that Jordan Neely and Daniel Penny situation in.
Completely different than the Trump situation, though. So,
But what I was getting ready to say is like the court of public opinion, the media litigates these cases. Kyle Rittenhouse, a lot of these things are litigated in the public sphere before they've ever made it to a courtroom. So that
Yeah.
presumption of innocence and that jury that's not tainted by their own political affiliation, you lose that nowadays.
That was a big deal when that started happening, right?
Yeah.
But the further and further we go into 2023 and then into 2024 and beyond, I don't know that media, that mainstream media, is going to have quite the bite that it used to. And
Okay.
is that confusing?
No, it's not confusing, but I want to push
Just on
back, but I
pure
want you to
numbers.
finish your thought first before I do
Just
that.
on pure numbers, if we look at pure numbers, what the ratings that they get. So Fox used to get legit ratings with Tucker. Now they're way down. They were at like 1.8 million. MSNBC surpassed them with like 2. That's nothing. And CNN is struggling to keep above 775,000
Yikes.
Right.
total viewers. Then on top of that, most of those are over 60 and already set in their ways. They're not swing voters.
No.
So what I'm saying is Rogan, these guys, they do way bigger numbers. Tucker on Twitter does bigger numbers.
So my question to you is where will people, like, we know they're going to Twitter, we know they're going to Facebook. We know they're going to social
YouTube.
media, right?
YouTube.
But the algorithms are dictating what information you're seeing now, right?
Mhm.
So if Facebook has decided that you're guilty or whatever, you're going to see information fed to you that reinforces the position of, I guess, the elite class. It will, best way I know how to word it. Right? Am I wrong about that?
No, I think you're right, but I also think that I don't know that the Democrats are going to hold on to this much longer.
What do you mean?
Their stronghold in this.
In the media realm, you mean? Okay.
Yeah, the further you go left, the more people you're going to leave behind.
Mhm.
Eventually, you've left too many behind. Joe Rogan's not a Republican. Elon Musk is not a Republican.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Do you agree with that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Today, right now, they are
Joe
considered
Rogan voted for Bernie Sanders. Like,
Exactly. Today, right now, they're being called far right extremists.
Extremists. That's the new word getting thrown
Nazis.
around a lot.
Okay, so every day the pendulum ticks, 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 further and further to the left. There, each time you're slivering more people out, and these people are starting to talk and get together.
Yeah.
Eventually, it's eating itself, Heather.
Yeah. I
The
agree.
same would happen if we were on the other side, going to the right. The middle would still be the middle of America, and that's the masses.
Right.
I'll tell you, like, they're teaching. I've seen some videos of teachers talking in sex ed classes about, like, teaching about gay sex and vibrators at Target. I mean, the videos are around, and that kind of shit is pushing people to right-wing extremism.
Right.
It's laughable now. You know what I'm saying? On Twitter, I'm just
do.
like, we're all white supremacists. Okay.
Yeah, if you go to a school board meeting, you're an extremist. But if you want to transition your child without their consent, you're a good mom.
Yep.
Okay. Sheik said, what about Presidential Records Act? Bernslats put up a New York Times article, CIA informants killed and captured. And that we know that's proven to be a direct result of information that Donald Trump released. This is from 2021. I just want to I just want to be clear on what that article is meant to encapsulate. When Trump ran and won, lots of societal changes on the left were also happening. I believe that's
Obama.
why it was so much more blown out for Trump. Truly a spectacle. Sorry for being so vague. No, you're fine. Clinton, Bush, etc., never had to deal with the public media. That's
No.
correct. Who is chomping into their microphone?
That was me. I was chewing gum right into it.
I do it every time.
It was not me. So okay. So another thing that I wanted to touch on tonight, just because it's such a huge deal, we're always talking about family. We've only got about 20 minutes left on the show, but I do want to get to both of these things because I think they're important. The first one, and I want to hear your all's thoughts. The first one is synthetic human embryos that have now been created in a lab. And so we've talked on the show before about the baby pods, like where they're gonna like grow them in the little like
One
fucking
more step to
incubator
erasing
things.
women.
Yes. So now we have synthetic embryos, meaning
Evil
that
shit.
yes, like, and I can't believe that more people aren't pushing back and talking about this, especially women, right? Like, and you know, there were a couple women that in my real life, I say that for like my non-online people, like my real life, were like, that would have been great. I could have just, you know, my baby would have been created. It would have been in a bubble or whatever, and then they just hand it to me. I didn't have to go through, you know, labor and delivery and all of that
It's
stuff.
for
And I'm
you
like,
to make your life easier.
What if you pay all that money and you get like 15 weeks into it and they're like, you were selected for abortion. You're like, shit, so close.
oh, that sounds terrible.
How?
But
But legitimately, how much lower do you think the abortion rate would be if you didn't have to carry the baby?
Well, for fuck's sake.
That's what they're. I mean,
Yeah.
that's where the fear.
That's where they're gonna sell it.
here's my thing though, like there is a bond there, right? Like, and I guess maybe,
Yes.
and I'm talking to two dudes, but you guys are both fathers. You have children with
I
wives
read about
and
skin
women
to
and
skin and bonding.
people, right? So when you have a baby in your stomach and then it comes out of you, like that baby goes through its entire developmental stages, listening to the sound of your voice, feeling your
Mhm.
emotions, all of that type of stuff. There is a book called Brave New World, and I'm not fucking joking you. This is exactly the way that book starts. It starts with this they're like creating specifically designed for different parts of society babies. They create them in pods and then they're ushered out into a essentially like an indoctrination camp in the beginning where they're learning how they fit into society, and then once they're of a certain age they're pushed out to the particular job or place or value that they have in the world. And I feel like so one of the arguments that was made was how great this would be for um making sure that you know you can eliminate issues like autism or Down syndrome or anything like that if babies were made this way. You could genetically make sure that they were, you know, the right kind of babies. And I say that I'm not suggesting that autistic or Down syndrome babies are not the right kind. I'm in polar opposite of that, but they're saying that, right? And I like at what point do we stop funding, stop pushing, stop like can we just go back to natural selection? Can we just go back to a world where the strong survive, babies are made, and two people have sex and love one another and create life and bring it into this world and raise it? Like, can we do that again? Can we stop with this? Like, I don't understand this.
I don't understand this at all. And women ushering. I see so many women ushering in their own demise.
Every single
Supporting
person that
things like
defended
this.
this was a female to me personally.
Or men in women's sports or anything where men are stepping in and just assuming the roles of women, like a la carte, selecting the parts that we want. We don't want periods. We don't want to carry a baby, but we will take first place in a contest of some kind. And now we can, it'll be pitched as wonderful, couples who couldn't conceive, or if you want to adopt, or
Yep.
blah, blah, blah. Surrogates. It's
Yeah.
all devil shit. This is like end of days stuff. It's egotistical to think that we would be alive during the time when it all came crashing down, but it sure feels like it's about to.
It's escalating, right? Like it's a trajectory that, I just, in my own lifespan, right? I look back to like what life was like when I was a kid to what life is like right now. And I'm only 39 years old. Well, I'm a whole 39 years old. Like I'm feeling pretty aged at this point, but it just feels like it's been a very rapid move in just this short period of time.
The fucking microwave, man. Once that fucking microwave came out, it has fucking God.
Patriot Girl says we're heading towards the movies like Snowpiercer and Children of Men. Those post-apocalypse movies. I love post-apocalypse movies.
Ooh,
I haven't seen either of
Snowpiercer
those.
sounds good.
Stem cells.
Sheik is correct. Created from stem cells, except no bonding through the womb during development. If in a pod, yep, absolutely. You and I are both on the same page. Harder to connect.
You
to
mean
the
you're
baby.
telling me these will just be little worker ants?
Yes.
They don't have a bond, but to the government.
Correct.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They're children of the state.
Baby pods, lab created. I've seen the movie. It doesn't end well. No argument for sterilization if you can grow a child in a tube. Drastically reduces the value of life.
Yes.
We're heading towards the movies. Oh, you said that already. Sheik said, I'm 25 and I've seen so much change.
That's crazy.
Yep.
That's
These
crazy.
fucking aliens got to quit crashing here. You're giving us technology we're not fucking ready for.
Like there wasn't a big difference between 1980 and 2005.
The cocaine got better.
I mean, not to the degree that this is. It's a snowball, and the technology is better, so it improves itself faster, and then it's better,
Right.
so it's improving faster, and round it goes. Now we're just at warp speed. Like, you can't believe anything you see on a screen. You can't believe a picture unless you can see it and touch it and hold it. You can't really believe it because all this deep fake shit is so good, and it's getting better every day. ChatGPT.
Do you think this is a hill that will get climbed like it did in 1861? Is that where we're headed?
I'm worried China's just going to walk in here.
There's the other thing I'm worried about. Are we so fucking just arguing inside of our bedrooms with each other, and China's just walked into the living room, is cooking dinner? We don't even know they're here.
You know how much farmland, how much acreage China owns here?
Did they just buy Cuba?
Why would we sell it to them? Like, that's...
Because we're capitalist, Heather. JP's probably
like singularity probably wouldn't sell shit to a communist. Like, I that doesn't make sense.
They just sell. It's just money. There's no phase. The Chinese government could run their money through 57 shell companies, and at the end of that shell company, it's Mr. and Mrs. Jones.
Yep.
That are just trying to start a farm and a life.
Yeah. Singularity is near. It's the CERN machine. Oh God. Is it on right now? I thought they turned it back off. My friend said it would possibly strengthen local communities as they can only trust what are said in community settings.
That's
China
where we're
there. And you know what? At any time, a group of us could pool together our money, purchase land, and go start our own community.
Just break
There's
off.
There's still places in America where the wildlife can be hunted and the ground can be tilled. Right. And if you have enough hands together in a community, you can make that happen. with labor, which is where all this money that they're stealing really starts. It starts with labor.
Right. Patriot Girl Prepper said seen Man in High Castle. I've read the book and it's fucking crazy. Public community in person.
Yes.
I mean, yes.
Yeah.
The Amish.
The
Yep.
Amish,
I
absolutely.
got to hang out with the
Yep.
Amish this weekend, actually.
Without being honest.
Yeah, you're absolutely
Like,
right. It's very doable. You just have to want it and go to work every day and get it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Like a music festival atmosphere.
Like-minded people, and then really, I mean, those kind of communities thrive around some kind of a church.
Yep. I watched a little Bonnaroo last night. I never did go to that. It looked fun. Tyler Childers' set was on. It's like, ooh, I gotta watch this. I don't like country music, but Tyler Childers is pretty good.
Tyler Childers is amazing. Okay, we've got about 10 minutes left. I have one other subject I think that we should, well, shit. We have 2 more subjects.
Well, these things.
So I'm going to let you guys pick. Eric, are you in a hurry to get out of here?
Not especially.
Okay, I'm going to do both of these then. The first is the man who was shut out of his home by Amazon.
Oh.
Did you see this?
Does he have a smart home?
He has a smart home.
And
He-
it locked him
racist.
out.
But
He
it wasn't even him.
He and his entire
He's black.
family were out of the house. They were not there. And a man comes to the door, a delivery guy comes
Amazon
to the door,
delivery
has
driver.
headphones on,
Amazon delivery
goes
driver.
to the door. Oh, Burn Slots said, thanks for not banning me like most right-wing channels do.
No.
We don't
Bro,
ban
we don't ban
anybody's.
anybody. Everybody gets a voice here.
We'll only ban you if you don't come back next week.
We had a really cool kid that was a transgender Marxist on.
Yeah,
We
had
don't-
a
we don't
2-hour
we don't
pick
ban
conversation.
people.
anybody.
Then we had
Yeah.
Gays Against Groomers the next week on.
We're about
All
the
good.
free flow of ideas.
Yeah. Okay, so man who gets locked out of his
Amazon
house,
driver
not
comes
there,
up.
none of his family's home. Driver comes up to the door to leave the package and is leaving, and the door automatically says to him, is there something I can help you with or something like that? It makes a comment. He has headphones on. He's walking to his vehicle and thinks that he misheard a racist comment. Amazon shuts down his smart home and locks him and his family out for 6 days.
Couldn't get it. Well, they got into their
6
house.
days.
6 days.
What if your medications are in there? Which they are.
Nobody gives
Right.
a fuck about that. You were racist.
So
Or we
here's
think
the
you might have
kicker.
been.
The dude is black
Mm-hmm. I never went there.
and they weren't there. And there was nothing. Yeah, I know. Imagine being canceled by your home. So,
Right?
like, love free flow of ideas.
Imagine
So,
being
okay.
canceled by your home.
We're getting into like total recall type shit where your home is going to lock you out.
Number one, don't have that shit on your home ever.
Yes. Okay.
I don't even have an
so-
Amazon Dot. I mean, everything records you, but
Right. So I think he even had like the whole like system, like the whole
the
house.
smart-
With,
Yeah,
And so
which you get a really good deal on if you're a Prime member.
yeah.
I'm sure.
And
I
now
don't know
you're-
that, but
I
it
mean, you're a
seems right.
product.
So it's just like I think it was on my morning show. I had discussed this story about Amazon. Now they took over their Ring programming or whatever, the Ring system. And in its original ownership, it turns out there were people like secretly accessing homeowners' indoor cameras
Mhm.
of like their bedrooms and like intimate areas. They were accessing that footage. And there were even some situations where they were speaking through the system to the homeowners, harassing them.
Wow.
And so huge lawsuit took place, right? And So now Amazon's like, no, we're good. We're not gonna do. We've corrected these issues, but you have a man that gets locked out of his home for being racist. So again, so here's my thing about this. This is where, let's say, let's in for the sake of argument, let's say that he was home and he did use a racial slur. He said something nasty to the
Mhm.
Amazon driver. Let's say that happened.
Well, that makes him an asshole. It shouldn't make him homeless, though.
It makes him an asshole, sure. But does he have the right in his own home to say something racially bigoted towards the individual dropping the package off?
Yeah, and that guy
Yes.
might punch you. That's the risk you run. Like,
Right.
you can speak your mind, but there might be consequences to that.
So, which brings me to my next concern. What is in the terms of service of these agreements that we're not reading? Like, are you, by putting this system in your home, are you subjugating yourself to
You
a company? Like, are you saying you no longer have free speech in your own home? What if
you
his
have
kid
to
had done it?
watch you have to watch the first episode of the new season of Black Mirror.
Oh my god, so I fucking kid you not. I was folding laundry before I got on the show, and I was sitting there watching or I was getting ready to turn on Seinfeld, and I saw Black Mirror top 10 in the US, and I was like, "Oh, I've heard that's a great show. I should watch that."
You've never
So,
seen it?
never seen it. Know
Oh, it's
nothing
gonna
about
blow
it.
your mind. It's gonna blow your mind.
Um, I've heard fucking crazy things.
It's a modern day Twilight Zone.
Great.
It's wild. It's
I'll check it out.
anthology. Like, every episode is different actors, different plot, different story. It's good.
Every episode?
Yep. It's like the Twilight Zone.
That's awesome, actually. Okay, last story, and then we can get to Two Truths and a Lie. So, the House Judiciary Committee sent a letter to Daniel Werfel, who is the commissioner for the IRS, and is like, y'all are getting a little extreme. So here's what's interesting. I saw a post yesterday from someone who actually works for the IRS and said the IRS is never coming to your home. That's never going to
No.
happen. That's very unlikely. I don't know what your all's obsession is with the
The
IRS,
nerds
but that's not
behind a
going to happen,
desk.
right?
They
So,
only get paid if they come to our house. Fucking
well,
idiots.
they don't even have to come to your house. They just
No.
steal it from you. They just go in your checking account and fucking take it away from you.
Mm-hmm.
But so there is the allegation. So what they were initially investigating was the Matt Taibbi situation, where because he was testifying before Congress, the IRS showed up at his house. Well,
Mm-hmm.
there's been another situation where a man shows up to a citizen's home and identified himself as Bill House, Haus, with the IRS's criminal division. This happened in Marion, Ohio. He said that, so it was a female. He informed the taxpayer he was there to discuss issues concerning an estate that the taxpayer was the fiduciary for. And he shared details about the estate that supposedly only the IRS would know about. The taxpayer let him in the home, and he said that she didn't properly complete the filings and was like aggressively harassing her for the money from this estate until she finally, like, I think he pushed too far and she felt uncomfortable. She called her attorney while he was in the home and was like, here's my attorney. And the attorney's like, you need to leave immediately. And this is not the way that you should be
Yeah.
acting or whatever. So so the attorney called the county police department, and because they thought it was part of a scam, that this was a person that wasn't actually with the IRS. They ran the license plate of the car, found out that not only was it in fact an IRS agent, but it was an IRS agent that gave the incorrect name when he gave a fake name to the
Oh.
client or to the taxpayer.
Because he knew this was a problem and knew
Right.
it was shady.
It gets even better. So the taxpayer who clarified nothing was owed on the estate, the supervisor even admitted the taxpayer things never should have gotten this far. However, the taxpayer received a letter from the IRS, the first and only written notice, after the fact. And then it gets even better. So here's what's in the letter to the commissioner. All documents and this is what Congress is asking for. All documents and communications referring or relating to the IRS's field visit of the taxpayer, including but not limited to the IRS's reasons for conducting the field visit in the first place prior to
who needs to know
contacting
that?
her. Number 2, all documents and communications between or among the IRS, Treasury Department, and any other executive branch entity referring or relating to the IRS's field visit to the residents, the role as executor of the estate decedent, or outstanding balances or taxes owed by the decedent. And the third thing, this is where it's really fucking interesting. All documents and communications sent or received by the agent referring or relating to the taxpayer, the officer of the MPD, the major of the MPD. So after all of this took place, the IRS agent also filed an inspector general complaint against the police officer who examined him.
Trying to big dick the local cops.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. So real quick, I'm going to go through these chats real fast before I do 2 truths and a lie. Jake said, "I'm sorry, Jamal, I can't do that." Jamie said, or JPS said, "Sorry, Timmy, no bigots allowed." Hal 3000 again, or Hal 9000, yeah. Jake said, "Over the winter, the electric company turned down people's thermostats in Colorado. That is true. That did happen."
Yikes. For the environment?
Show
We'll
me
just
a
log
warrant.
right in there.
Fuck off, Fed. Nate Green said, "I think the IRS seizing the 4473s from the FFL is far scarier." Yes. So to this point, Nate, I've the only reason I haven't discussed this on my show or anything else yet is I just want just a little bit more information on this acquisition.
Is
as
this
to
the
whether
South
or not
Dakota stuff?
it was, well, so the IRS shows up to an FFL and takes all of his 4473s,
Oh
which
wow.
it should have been handled by the ATF if they were in fact going to seize it, because it has nothing to do with financial records. It has to do with personal records of other people. So it's really scary if that's true. Yes, Nate agreed. Nate said, "I'm an FFL. There's no legal reason the IRS has to seize those." Yes, you're 100% correct. My only concern is if it was actually the IRS. Like now we have agents using fake names. Like, was it the ATF saying it was the IRS? Because the ATF legally can't seize those 4473s without, yep, that's what the words were coming out of my mouth as you were typing them.
If anybody
So-
lives in Colorado and they turn your thermostat down, holler at me. I can make a tutorial on how to buy. We can get past all that.
Yeah.
We can just
Yeah.
turn the state. We can get the state right out of your gut, right out of your furnace, but still make them
So-
believe that they're in it.
If what Nate is saying is true, the ATF was not capable of getting a warrant for those 4473s. And so they used another federal agency that did not have the right or legal ability to even go after those records to seize those records. That's
Wow.
fucking
That's
mind
dirty.
blowing.
They're straight up stealing farms too.
Thank you, Nate. Shoot me a DM with info on this because I do want to look into this more. I've been wanting to. I've been doing other stuff over the course of this weekend. I can too. I've got a Mercury thermostat. Okay, 2 truths and a lie, so Eric can get out of here and go home and go to bed. Story number 1. Convenience stores in Korea are now selling gold bars in vending machines. The popularity of gold is surging at convenience stores around South Korea as the value appreciates amid strong inflationary pressure across the globe. The gold bars dispensed through vending machines were introduced last September, and they offer 5 sizes. The prices fluctuate daily in keeping with the international valuation for gold. That's story number 1. Story number 2. U.S. government announces initiative to preserve and digitize historical artifacts. In a move to safeguard the nation's rich cultural heritage, the federal government has unveiled an ambitious initiative aimed at preserving and digitizing historical artifacts. The program, titled Preserve Our Past, seeks to ensure the long-term accessibility and conservation of important cultural artifacts. Story number 3. A 21-year-old speed cubing champion broke a world record in the highly competitive sport by solving a 3x3x3 Rubik's Cube in 3.13 seconds. Max Park took on the record at Pride in Long Beach, California, and shaved 0.34 seconds off the record set by Chinese speed cuber Yu Shengdu in 2018. Those are your 3 stories. For those who are new to Patriots and Petticoats, you need to pick which story is the lie without cheating. Do not go to Google and look up, but those are your 3 stories.
What was the first one? Give me that headline.
The first one is Korean convenience stores selling gold in vending machines.
Holy shit. If that story is true, I'm not saying it is. I have an assumption of what it might be, but how great is that citizenry where you could have golden vending machines?
Yeah.
Like, we can't even have fucking stores.
In convenience stores. Yep.
I feel real good about this one. I think it's number 2. I talked to a guy this past weekend who basically has me wanting to buy nothing but gold, silver, and bullets for the next
It's number
6 months.
I think it's number 2.
And I've seen these kids with the cubes. They're fast. So I think it's number 2. I've seen them do it blindfolded, which is really I don't understand how they do that. Do they have the tiles memorized? You almost have to do it that fast.
What have we got?
It's number 2.
We got 1. Jake's got 1. Sheik's
One
got
is
2.
the lie.
Tell you
which
what,
is
I'm
the-
on the same page.
My
with-
favorite prepper in the world has 2. I feel safe with 2 now.
You guys locking your answers in? Number 2?
Plus,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't think the government wants to remember the past.
The
Well,
government, if the government
Remember,
goes
it's digitizing the past.
if
so
it digitizes the past, it's just going to use AI to rewrite it.
It'd be real easy to do that, wouldn't it?
They would do it. That's what they're
You
doing.
will just
That's
have
the
to give a
plan.
command.
That's the
Just-
plan.
So the fake story you guys are saying is number 2, which is the digitization
No,
story.
Jake said number 1. Let me check.
Yeah, but
Rumble.
you guys said number 2, right?
Yeah,
Both
number
of
2.
you.
Yeah.
Nobody on
Okay.
Rumble.
Number 2 is in fact the lie. Jake, I'm sorry you got it wrong. They would
What
love
was
to
the-
digitize everything because that's what they do in 1984, but it is not true.
We
There
would have
is a
heard about
California
that.
speed
That would have been
cube
in Liberty
killer
Happy Hour, 100%.
who solved a Rubik's Cube in 3.13 seconds. It's fucking insane.
So I knew that was true because it's been like all of a sudden everybody's talking about Rubik's Cubes on Twitter.
Ah,
So do you have the spreadsheet updated?
I don't. I'm sorry. With everything that was going on with mom this weekend,
Yep.
I haven't had a chance. But I will. I promise.
got
To
prepper.
everyone, I promise I will have it for next. I'll do it tonight.
Yeah, we need to figure out when the quarter is too and what our prize is going to be.
Yeah.
I was well
Yeah.
into adulthood before I knew Rubik's Cube wasn't spelled with an X.
Well,
It was like a person named Rubik, apparently. Who
Oh
invented
my
it.
God, that's great.
So it's
Okay.
like Reese's.
On that note, thank you to the audience, everyone who participated today. Thank you to my co-hosts, Chris and Eric, for being amazing. And we are here every Sunday evening at 8:30 Eastern Standard Time for your entertainment pleasure. Please go follow everyone on their handles on Twitter. That's where you can engage with us the most. And if you enjoyed the show, please share it. Find a family member that you want to piss off, and
Do
we'd
that.
be more than happy to do that. So,
Absolutely.
love you guys. You guys take care.